All right, hello, welcome, and let's get started. It's the 19th today, and we are continuing our work, the fashion show. This week we started getting into the nitty-gritty about how the judge voting is going to work. And I think last week last week we pretty much finished up all the teleports, and I may need to add a few more of them, but the basement and the teleports have been finished, and that was take your medicine type of part where you're just working on a bunch of um, systems that are like all the same, but they just have different messages, and we are setting up people's variables, their role, and giving them tags, building the systems that are going to teleport people around. So I'm pretty happy where we are with that. And I wanted to get all of that stuff done so we could figure out the flow before we get to judge voting. Now, judge voting is a little complicated, but what I'm going to do, what I wanted to have happen was there's the possibility of 3 judges. And so I want to make this experience as flexible as possible. So if 3 judges aren't going to be judging, maybe we want to have 2 or 1. I thought it'd be cool if that would work. Maybe 1 judge for a special event, 2 judges for a special event. Or maybe a judge can't show up and we need to change it to 2 judges. I'm not sure, but I wanted it to work for only 2 or 1 judge as well. So at the beginning, we select how many judges are going to be voting. I control a lot of the stuff with levers. The admin is going to. So we'll be watching this and pulling levers as we need to. But then essentially I'm going to let the judges start voting. The system's going to wait for as many votes as it needs, and then average them, assign them, and then I had it automatically resetting too, but I think I'm going to give myself the reset button so that if we want to have time to talk about the judges' votes, like, oh, you gave it a 3. Why did you give it a 3? Or whatever. And I can talk about the gear set and what they liked about it, what they could see improved, or how they wanted to see it, Feedback is not always the easiest thing to hear, but it would be cool to have a feedback portion in the show. So I'm going to give myself the ability to move it on to the next step. Nasman, what's up? Thanks for dropping into chat. It does mean a ton. So today I want to get the actor property switcher working for the actual display next to their team symbol. And I think I sort of had I guess it's not really an epiphany, it's pretty simple, but if you have 5, if everybody votes for a 5, you get 15 divided by 3, that's a whole number. But you can have 14 divided by 3, and that's 4.67. That'll round it to 4.67, so I'll need to compare for that. If you have, let me just write these down as I'm doing this. I used to have so many pens around me. All right, I got something. So we need to recognize 4.67. If I have 13 divided by 3, we're going to have 4.33, I think. And then obviously there's a 5. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then 11 divided by 3 will be the 6 one. So then you'll have to do 3.67. And then it'll be 3.33 probably, right? So 10 divided by 3. 3. Okay. So I think I can deduce the rest of these because it's going to be 3, 2, 6, 7, 2, 3, 3, 1. That's it, because the judge can only vote between 5 and 1. So you could get 3 1s or 3 5s. There's no zeros. Okay. Now, but also, there could be 2 judges. So 5 plus 5 is 10, divided by 2 is 5, obviously. 9 divided by 2, 4.5. So we also need to do the halves. So 4.5, and then there'll be a 3.5, and there'll be a 2.5. Whoops, 2, 3, 3. I messed up. So 2, 3, 3, and then we'll have a 2. And then there'll be a 1, 6, 7. And a 1, 3, 3. And then a 1.5. Okay, so 8 divided by 3, 7 divided by 3, 5 divided by 3, 4 divided by 3. All those scores are possible. 3 divided by 3 is the end. This is 1. You could also have something like 3 divided by 2, or 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So I was thinking there was going to be a lot of numbers that it could be, but in reality, let's see here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16-ish. There's 16 scores that we have to do from the judges per team, so 16 times 4. That's not too bad. And we're going to be using actor property switchers to switch around these scores, so we don't need to spawn anything. And then, before we go on to the rest of the teams, we're also pitching the idea that we're going to have the audience be able to influence the score as well. So what does that mean? That could mean that all the audience members are allowed to vote once. That could mean that audience members could use currency for votes, and they could have an unlimited amount of votes and just use currency. Currency could be earned through I'm not sure. Playing mini games. It could be just given for free. You could get it through NFTs. We probably won't do that though. I'm not 100% sure yet. But the thing I started thinking about is, so here we have 16 different scenarios we have to account for. But if I go back to adding the judge or adding the audience score into the judge score, then we're going to have a lot of things that we're going to have to account for again. So I was thinking perhaps that I could have Roxy make a plus sign, and then the audience could influence the vote by up to like point or up to one. Like maybe every time somebody votes, you get 0.01, and then I'll just add up. So that means I would have to do 100 actor property switcher logic systems here. I could also invent like a drop system or something, asset spawner. Likely a drop would be the easiest thing, because I could just make it go up. I could make a drop system, and 1 drops 2, and 2 drops 3, and 3 drops 4, and blah blah blah. But I try not to spawn things. I try to have everything on the map when the game starts, and use actor property switchers because it just seems to run better. But the audience voting system is going to be rather complicated. So for now, let's just focus on this part, and I will have a meeting with Roxy, and we'll finalize what audience voting means. So Roxy should have made a decimal for me. What do you call it? Decimal? He did. So actually, let's just go ahead and grab one of these assets. Actually, we'll grab this one since it is right there. And we will hit X because that's replace. Search up decimal. Confirm and replace. Confirm and replace. Whoops. Okay. So we have to imagine that this score right here is going to start with, it's going to look like this, 0, 0, 0, as well as all the other ones, which I'll just put some placeholders there. Oh, I was holding shift. Probably go back and delete these, but just for some looks. So everybody starts the game with 0. And as we get it, I don't really want it to be in the HUD per se, but shown on the map. And it makes it a little more complicated. So let's try to account for these 16 different scores we can get from 3 judges, and 2 judges, and 1 judge. So there'll be a 1. Just one moment. I'll be... All right. Turn BRB up. So let's do all these things I just wrote down. There's going to be a 133. There's going to be 6-7. I think grab 7. There's also going to be 0.5. 0.50. There's going to be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Uh, I have worked with an asset too that had all these numbers inside of it from Blue Tulip, Blue Tulip's digit asset, which was really cool. And I would like to go back and test it again, but sometimes it got broken or messed up. And that's not Blue Tulip's fault. That was the animation behavior. And even with that asset, I would set it to the proper digit and just have a bunch of assets and use actor property switchers instead of trying to change the animation. But that is definitely worth a test, because if you just had an animated asset with all these digits, that would be, theoretically a lot easier and more simple. That's what I would do if I was sure that it worked. But I'm 100% positive that I can make this work, and it'll work really good and never get messed up. So I'm taking a few extra steps to use actor property switchers. Okay. So this board is starting to get pretty full. This is what I'm calling the judge selection and voting system, and I'm going to have to find a way to break this up a little bit. One of these days, when I get happy with the amount of work we have gotten done or whatever, I'm definitely going to go back to Logic Board Pro and organize some of this in there and potentially use it as a resource if anybody's interested in the logic for this experience. Because this experience came from a DAO grant, and it is as much for everybody as it is for Roxy and myself as well. All right, so let me reorient myself with what's going on. Math. Vote check team. So vote record prism. Right now I'm just using some math.
Some Coke.
I told you you could have one today. So first of all, we need to check, because I'm always going to do the teams in the same order. So first we're going to check the team, and we're going to check it with this variable called active team on catwalk. Hey Wicked, thanks for dropping into chat. It's good to see ya. Hi there. Good to see you as well. Vote, record, prism. So let's use vote. I guess I can just use vote, record, prism. And we're going to compare numbers here. Actually, let's just go back and leave this math here and just add to this. We're going to compare numbers. So vote, record, prism. Just go ahead and use it after this, or I could just to make it easier to understand, let's just go like this. Vote, prism, APS. Maybe APS, prism, score. Like something like that might be better. And so we're going to be comparing, this message is going to go through a bunch of compares at the same time to see what score they have. So APS prism score, it's going to be like, so now we can make sure we can check score prism because it's a step after we've added it up. Is it equal to 1? Then we're going to say APS prism 1, something like that. We'll duplicate. Is it equal to 1.33? APS prism dot 133. I'll just leave decimal points out of this. It'll be easy enough to understand. Is it equal to 167? Because these are decimals. And you can do the decimal up to the 100th. And I'll go APS dot prism and I'll copy this so I don't have to keep typing it. 167. And so this is where all those rules are going to pop in. And maybe if I just copy this, if I control C, I can copy it, and then I'll delete this group of rules. It'd be cool if we could drop notes in here. That's what the logic board is for, really. I'm just more comfortable building stuff in the GameMaker, especially for this project. And so this is going to be team score logic. Compare APS, give myself hints. We're going to move this to the logic room stuff. We're here, and I can just hit Control V, and I'll paste them in. All right, so now we're on a new board, new fresh board. So we can go, oops, I skipped one. We can also have 1.5. APS dot, oh, I can, APS, I can't paste it because I copied the rules. So 133, 1.5, 1.67, and then you can go to 2. APS, actor property switcher, prism 2. Then you can go to 233. I should test this quick to make sure it's working. Make sure that the compares can recognize the decimals. Maybe we will stop here and test it before I get too far. So I have it up to around scoring of a 2. So we can start working the actor property switcher systems for this. Let's think. Prism. Prism dot integer. That's 0. Prism dot 10th dot 0. Prism dot 100th dot 0. Maybe. All right, so we're going to use some logic assets for our actor property switchers. So you can never have a 0 at the front. It's impossible because the judges can vote 1 as the smallest. So you're never going to have the first 0 be there again. You can always turn that off. So what message comes out? At a good time to actor property switch the visibility of this 0 integer for the prism score off. We can use either of these messages. Let's use APS prism score. Because this message is always going to come out. APS prism score. we're going to turn the properties. All we need to mess with is the visibility, I think. We can say specific tags within range, and this is prism dot integer dot 0. It's a lot smaller. Copy. So this tag will be prism integer 1, prism integer 2, prism integer 3, let's worry about the integers up to 2 right now for the actor property switchers. So if we get APS prism dot 1 133 015 167, then all of these are going to turn the 1 true. Because all this stuff is going to start invisible. Thank you for the follow. Is that Roxy Miguel? I'm not sure, my screen froze, so I couldn't see it. Probably was Roxy because he's in chat, or he's in the users. So thank you, Roxy. So for this tag, we went prism 10. So this is going to be prism dot 10th dot, and I'll copy this. 10th dot. That was a good use of that. Prism 10th 3. Let's just keep doing this while I have this one. So prism 10th 6. Prism 10th 5. We're going to have prism 100th dot, did I spell that right? Dot 3. 100th. It's probably right, isn't it? Hundredth dot 3, 100th dot 7, and 100th dot 0. So this one, oops. This one's talking to prism integer 1. This one's going to be talking to prism integer 2. And we need APS dot prism We have 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 6, 7. Oops. It'll be 2, 5. And there will be 2, 6, 7. All right, let's start on the bottom here. Make an actor property switcher for the 10th. Shit. Let's say APS Prism score. So this one is talking to 10th.0. This one is also always going to, well, no, that's not true. Because it's going to stay on for full numbers. So if you get like a 1, it'll be 1.00. So we're going to turn the visibility off when we get all these scores that don't require 0. Scope. So APS.prism. It wouldn't be a 1. 1 would have 0, 0. So it would be 1, 3, 3. It would be 1, 6, 7. I keep on forgetting about the half. It'll be 1, 5. We'll turn this one off. 2 wouldn't, but everything in between will, like 2, 3, 3. 2, 5. 2, 6, 7. 3 wouldn't, but everything in between. I'm only going to do up here just to test it to make sure this is working. Now let's go ahead and duplicate this up. And we'll say 3. So this one is true. And we're going to be using it for this message. It's not deleting the messages. I need it for that message. Oops. Two, 3, 3. I need it for that message. Let's leave it like that for now. And we got the tag right on the 3, I think. 10th.3. 10th.3. 10th.6. So prism, I can just say that we need a 167 here, 267. This one will get turned on with prism 1.5 and 2.5. I'll have to finish this all the way up to 5. Just gonna try to give it a little test. This one's talking to the tag prism 10th.5. All right, let's do the last digit, the 100th spot. 100th. So when do we turn? Did I change this to visibility on? Okay. So when do we turn the last 0 off? Pretty much everything unless there's going to be a 5. Or a full number. Whoops, I messed up. So we got this one turning off, just not for the whole numbers. Delete this again because I think I can use a lot of these same messages here, so I'm gonna click 8. 100th. Okay. I don't need to turn it off for the 0.5s. I don't need to turn it off for the whole numbers, but I do need to turn it off for these ones. Okay, I think we're doing good. 100th.3. So we're going to start turning the visibility on. And we need a 3 if there's that one or that one. Now we're looking for the 100th 7. 167. 267. Okay. Jeez Louise. Let's see here. Let's say that there are 3 judges. And I am judge 1. Let's go here and we'll turn it to judge 1. I don't have this set up very good for testing yet. So I'm judge 1 and I'm like, yo, let's give this guy a 1. Oh shoot, I forgot to do that. I have to turn on the voting. It's not set up very good to test yet. Boom, vote start. Confirm a score of 1, yes. So you'll be able to see the 1 under judge 1. Now the system's not working because it's waiting for 2 more votes. So I'm going to go ahead and clean myself of my tag and my role. Where are the judges? And go to the judge 2. I'm going to try to stay up here this time, but It's like just too far to see, but let's say that this one also confirms a 1. So we have 2 submitted votes. Let's see if I can see the front. So yeah, you can see a 1 down there on judge 2 in the middle, 1, 1. We got 2 judges voted. So let's do 4 divided by 3, I guess, so we can get a decimal point. A lot of testing we're going to have to do. But now I'm going to be judge 3. So let's do a 4. Let's divide by, or let's give a score of 2. Oh, thank gosh, dude. Let's go, baby! Woo! So yeah, it does work pretty good. Why can't I tab out? Let's do a 5 divided by 3. I'll just do this one more time quick. Let's say there's 3 judges, and I'm going to start the vote. Go down here. This time I want 5. A score of 5 divided by 3. So let's go judge 1. And so let's say 2. Confirm a score of 2. Yes. If he tries to vote again, it's not time to vote. Judge, relax. Oops, I gotta clear my stuff. We go into judge 2. Since he's judge 2 now, he can try to vote. Yes. It's not time to vote anymore. I think I need to also unbind the judges' buttons when they change. I need to change that a little bit, but it's no big deal. So I want a 5. Yes. So 167. So you can see 167, the zeros is turned off. You can still see the judge. You should still be able to see the judges' scores down there. 221. And then, so we have time to talk about it until I hit the reset button. And at the time I hit the reset button, Prism's score is still there, but you can't see the judges' score anymore. We'll be able to move on to the gem team. So Prism's got 167, and then now we're going to do the gem. And so at the beginning of this, hopefully Roxy's still listening, I was talking about we have to next make a system that is for the audience to vote in on this. And if we, however that's going to work. Yes! Thank you. However that's going to work, it's probably not going to be built into this actor property switcher system. Because then we're back to having all of the digits. Probably. But I'll talk to you about it. But I was thinking it would be cool if we could have the score on top and then have like the amount of points underneath that are going to get added. Like how many hundredths or tenths. And maybe it can only go up to 1 or 0.99. But I want you to make me a plus sign. Pretty please. Tab isn't working for me right now. It's weird. Yes, a plus sign. No. The symbol, not the word, please. So we need to do some more testing. I'll take this all the way to the end here. But this was working really good. Not the word symbol, no. But I was going to put, like if the zeros are right here, or wherever the score is, they'll have their judge score, and then underneath plus point, and then this will just be like a ticker that counts up. So does all the audience members just get one vote, or do they use a currency they've earned that's a persistent variable, perhaps, to buy as many votes as currency they have? Do they earn currency by doing events on the map, parkour, or whatever, well, mini games? So how is audience voting going to work, and how is it going to affect the score? We need to have a meeting about that and lock it down, because I'm pretty much on that step. I'm very happy with the judging system and how everything's working. We're on definitely the right track to get it put out pretty quickly here. Is it the most optimized thing? I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's going to work really good. So yeah, I'm super excited. I was kind of dreading putting all this together and hoping it would work. I had a feeling that I could get it to work, but you never really know. But yeah, it's coming together really, really smooth. And the logic for this is not going to take me very much longer to finish, to have the show done. Then we can start focusing on the mini games and all the other stuff that's going to make this experience really cool, like the gear set displays. What does that mean? People being able to try out the contestants' gear. Is that going to be bought with currency and build up some mini games? So I'm really excited for this experience, and I hope that it can get some traction and that people enjoy it. So that's going to be pretty much it for me today, though, for this stream. I may be on later today to work on 99 Nights on the Mountain a little bit. It would be cool to have some stuff done for Bruno tomorrow, but I don't know if he's just going to do a Lucky Miner session. Probably. I don't have very much done on 99 Nights on the Mountain yet. Just some very basic stuff. All right, so that's going to be it for us today. I don't see anybody that I would raid into, but we had a good game, a good practice today, team. I appreciate you very much. Reach out to me if you have anything you'd like to talk about. DMs are always open. Roxy, let me know when you'd like to meet today. I'll talk to everybody later. Thanks, Dasman. Thanks for hanging out.